my words won't do justice, so I'll try not to say too much and let Jenny and Cheryl, and I think Sydney knows the family over many years. But I'll just say that there are a lot of heroes in this county, and I have the privilege to be able to follow Jenny and the work that she's doing to try to make a better world and to create momentum for Peace Day. And Jenny, with her family foundation, the Maddie J.T. Stepanek Foundation, has initiated something called National Peace Day. And we very much wanted to have this proclamation in July to commemorate, because the Peace Day matches the birthday of Maddie Stepanek. And if you don't know the story of Maddie Stepanek, you're in for a real treat when you learn about him. He's just an amazing individual who, one of the more noteworthy people to ever be born and raised in Montgomery County. And so Jenny, to bring the world's attention to his vision and the vision of peace, has initiated something called National Peace Day. So we have a proclamation today which actually technically names the 17th of July as National Peace Day. But Jenny is a warrior, not only for peace, but for her health and her family's care. And so in July, there were some issues with, I think, you had some technical difficulties with your chair. And so you were ordering a new chair, which hadn't arrived. And so we of course said, well, we'll do this whenever is easy. And so here we are today commemorating July 17th of 2018 as National Peace Day. And we'll read the proclamation in a moment, but I'm going to ask Councilmember Katz and Senator Kagan for a few words before Jenny speaks.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being here. I have had the pleasure of knowing you and your family for many, many years now, but one of the things that is, and there's so many remarkable things, but one of the things that's really the fun part, one of the fun parts, is Peace Day in Rockville, and I've been there for a couple of years, and for those of you who have not attended Peace Day in Rockville, you're not doing yourself a favor. You need to be there. It's a fun day. It's a family day. There's music and there's food and there's just a lot of nice excitement. And you use the term a warrior for peace, which is really an interesting way to say it, because that is exactly what you are and what your family is, and you're one of the reasons that Oprah Winfrey came to Rockville to dedicate a park, and I know what kind of excitement that caused. So on behalf of all of us, I sincerely thank you and your family for everything that you're doing. Peace is so very important to all of us, and it needs to always be a part of the conversation.
I am so blessed to have Jenny as a constituent and, more importantly, as a friend. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Maddie's all too brief life of 14 years, he left an enormous impact through his poetry, his writing, and his presence. He had seven best-selling books on the New York Times bestseller list. He became friends with Jimmy Carter, co-authored a book with him, became, as Councilmember Katz said, very close, a confidant and friend to Oprah Winfrey, to Maya Angelou, and so many other remarkable people. And some of us are blessed to meet interesting people, but Maddie connected with them and became friends with them, and they supported each other and loved each other. He had an enormous impact while he was here, and thanks to Jenny, his devoted, beautiful mom, he is continuing to leave a legacy here. I commend to you Jenny's book, Messenger, which details the story of Maddie's life and the impact that he has had in Montgomery County, in our state, and in our world. So do check that out. And the last thing I'll mention is in partnership with Delegate Mark Corman from Bethesda, we were able to get a proclamation from the governor. And this is the first time the state or the county have proclaimed Peace Day, which is a really big deal. And so now the next thing is Congress and the White House. So we've got our vision set high because we all need to work together and figure out how to build bridges. Jenny?
Would you like to stand or can you hold it?
I've got it here. So why does Peace Day matter? Well, because peace matters. Peace Day is not about pausing violence to play with our neighbors. Peace Day is about pausing in general to learn about how to shift peace from being a possibility to a reality. Peace Day is about gathering with your community, with children, with families, with leaders, with elected leaders, with business leaders, and taking the time to play well together, but to also learn about Maddie's message and the tools for peace, about the importance of service and community activities, the importance of tending to the basic human needs of our neighbors around the block and around the world, those we know, those we don't know, those we like, and those we don't like. It's about teaching our children to neither be bullies nor be bullied. It's about how to balance kindness and assertiveness in a good way, a way that moves us towards peace. It's about moving hope from a mere energy to actual works that change our world for the better. And why on Maddie's birthday? Well, because Maddie helps us really understand that peace is possible. He's a role model. It's kind of like Service Day for Martin Luther King. He's a role model for how to make peace, not an abstract concept, but something very doable, something embraceable, something that becomes us, our choices in thought, word, and deed. So I really thank the city of Rockville. I mean, Maddie and I chose to move to Rockville when his books began selling and we were able to literally rise above a poverty level and move into a home of our own. We chose Rockville after looking at community after community because Rockville is diverse. Is it perfect? No. But does it strive for perfection? Do the neighbors take care of the neighbors? Yes. And that's what we were looking for. And the city of Rockville, since the year Maddie died in 2004, has always proclaimed his birthday as a day of peace. Again, not to pause violence, but to begin peace, to learn about it. Last year, the city of Rockville chose to just put it on their permanent calendar. They said, no more do we vote on Peace Day year after year. It is now a thing. And I hope that the county council does the same thing. I thank Cheryl Kagan for championing our cause and taking it to the state level. And I'm hoping that the governor, this one, the next one, chooses to put this on a permanent calendar. And yes, we're hoping to move to the White House. We do have a congressional resolution that was issued 4 years ago supporting this effort and the work of Maddie's Foundation, but we seem to kind of be at a block where we're struggling to literally make peace the news. So I ask that every citizen of every age help us make peace the news by choice. And thank you, County Council, for being a part of that effort.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. I'll read the proclamation now. Whereas Maddie J.T. Stepanek, born on July 17th, 1990, was an American poet, ambassador of goodwill, and advocate for peace, all while living with a debilitating genetic neuromuscular disease that ultimately took his life on June 22nd, 2004, just before his 14th birthday. And whereas by the age of 3, Maddie began celebrating hope and happiness by creating poetry he referred to as heart songs, which are expressions of inner purpose that connect humanity in positive ways. And whereas Maddie spent his life inspiring millions, it's hard to read this, it's very emotional, spent his life inspiring millions of diverse global neighbors with his vision and mission of hope and peace, sharing it on television, in speeches, and in 7 award-winning New York Times best-selling books of poetry and peace essays, while grieving the loss of his 3 siblings and facing his own health challenges. And whereas, would you like to read some? Sydney?
I don't know where you are on this one. Where are you? Whereas Maddie believed that peace is possible. I'll try to get through this too. I know this is tough. Whereas Maddie believed that peace is possible. Peace is for all people. Peace can be taught And peace begins with deliberate choices in attitude and action, reminding us that we are a mosaic of gifts. And remember to play after every storm. And whereas Maddie encouraged us to understand that peace is not about having to agree with their neighbors, but choosing to be with their neighbors in nonviolent and non-judgmental ways, promoting respect and kindness. And, would you like to finish? No. Whereas to recognize and honor Maddie's contributions in 2014, a congressional resolution was passed to support the Maddie J.T. Stepanek Foundation's National Peace Day campaign to have Maddie's birthday annually proclaimed as a day to learn about and celebrate peace. And whereas to commemorate his life and legacy, a 26-acre namesake park and playground with a statue and peace garden was created in 2008 in his King Farm neighborhood. And the city of Rockville collaborates with Maddie's Foundation to annually celebrate Maddie's Peace Day. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby proclaims July 17th, 2018 as Peace Day in honor of Maddie J. Stepanek's life and legacy of peace, which continues to genuinely shape our world with hope and goodwill. And it's signed by the Council President, Hans Riemer. Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to be in the, get a picture here?